Hello, everyone. This is Lynette, and I am here with um, It's About Time. Sorry, I'm a little late today, but we had some stuff going on, and I just want to make sure that we are consistent, though. So, how are you? I hope everybody's good, and I hope you feel blessed of the Lord. We're going to jump right into Genesis 8 and see where it takes us. All right, I'm here with Genesis 8 through 11 today, and it starts with the flood. And so she left us yesterday with the flood and how that worked out. And, Noah and his sons and their families, and Noah and his wife and his sons were left out here, and they were closed in to the ark, and they were good. God started flooding the earth, and as it ended with 150 days of them being in the ark. And so I thought, wow, this is so cool. Noah doing the doggone thing. I mean, I don't know if that would have been the greatest for me, knowing that people were out there, but he had served him, and God was going to kill everybody. So here Noah was there to benefit from God's good graces. And so I was excited for him. But it says, but God remembered, so sorry, first one, but God remembered Noah and all the beasts and all the cattle that were with him in the ark. And God caused a wind to pass over the earth, and the water subsided. And it says, also the fountains of the deep and the floodgates of the sky were closed, and the rain from the sky was restrained. So the 40 days and the 40 nights had passed, and it says, and the water receded steadily from the earth. And at the end of 150 days, the water decreased. So it wasn't even done at the end of 150 days. It had decreased. It was still really wet. Think about the fact that it covers the mountaintops. So if it's covering the mountaintops, of course, it's going to be an issue as far as, oh my God, people say it's supposed to be 40 days and 40 nights. Well, 40 days and 40 nights of rain, and rains that brought floods. This wasn't 40 days of 40 nights of sprinkles. It was 40 days and 40 nights of rain. So if that's the case, then we know for sure that it's going to take a while for that water to go down. And it said it took 150 days. And it says in the seventh month, of on the 17th day of the month, the ark rested upon the mountain of Ararat, right? The water decreased steadily until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the first day of the month, the tops of the mountain became visible. So even at the 7th month, it took them a while, and then it took 3 more months for it to go to the 10th month for it to be what it needed to be. And they could still see the mountains became visible. Then it came to the end of the 40 days, and that's the Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made, and he sent out a raven, and it flew here and there until the water was dried up from the earth, right? Then he sent out a dove from him. He had a dove, right? First he sent out, first it says, that Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made, and he sent out a raven, and it flew here and there until the water was dried up from the earth. So he kept flying. That raven kept trying to fly around to see what was happening with this water. There's not a dry spot, and then he sent out a dove from him, and to see if the water was abated from the face of the land. But the dove found no resting place for the sole of her foot, so she returned to him into the ark. So the dove came back. Didn't say the raven came back, but the dove came back. For the water was on the surface of all the earth. Then he put out his hand and took her and brought her into the ark himself. So that was a pet. I mean, at this particular point, this bird knew that he knew Noah, because she had been with Noah all this time, and he was able to put his hand out and take the bird and arm out, however that worked out, and bring the bird in. The relationship people have with animals, this was a good relationship. We get kind of, some people are not animal people. Clearly God chose a person that was really, really good with animals. And makes me wonder, and I would, of course, how good are we with animals? Some people say, well, I'm not animal people. We're supposed to be every kind of, you know, person as far as the living creatures God has put up, in the earth. We should not be cruel to animals. We should be, as loving and kind as possible. Doesn't mean that we have to take them in as pets. Doesn't mean that we have to want to care for them. But being cruel and being kind, cruel is not an option, and kind is the only option. It's really important that we take this into consideration when we're dealing with animals, and we don't look as that as something that we should not be doing. We should for sure be looking at the animals. I'm just going to say that, and as something that we should take care of and be kind to. I'm throwing that out there. And so he waited yet another 7 days, and he sent out the dove from the ark. The dove came to him toward evening, and behold, in her beak was a freshly picked olive leaf. So Noah knew that the water was abated from the earth. He knew, right? Then he waited yet another 7 days, and he sent out the dove, but she did not return to him again. So it took him 21 days after it had been months for this rain to stop and to abate. So the rain had to stop the flooding, and then there were days where it took for the water to recede or abate enough on the earth for it to be something that it was plausible for the animals as well as Noah and his family to walk upon. Now it said it came about in the 600 year, the 601st year, in the first month, on the first of the month, the water was dried up from the earth. Look at that. And that 600 year has to do with you know has to do with the more of Noah's situation, because Noah was 600 when he went in, right? And now he's 601. I'm assuming it was in the 601st year anyway. Might not have been his birthday yet, but he was 600 when he went in. Then Noah removed the covering of the ark and looked, and behold, the surface of the ground was dried up. Took him a while, but God dried that land up for him. And in the second month, on the 27th day, the earth was dry. Then God spoke to Noah, go out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons' wives with you. Bring out with you every living thing of all that is with you, birds and animals and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. Because they didn't need to bring the fish, right? Because they were already there. They were already in the seas and things of that nature. It didn't say anything about them being they died or whatever. They were just a lot more water for them to dwell in, and so they were there. It says, and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth, that they may breed abundantly on the earth and be fruitful and multiply on the earth. Look at this. So here we are. The Lord is blessing, giving the blessing like he did in the beginning. He did with Adam, and during the days of the creation, when he was doing this for telling the birds to be fruitful and multiply. He said this to the birds, and and now he's saying to the birds, the beasts, and every living thing that creepeth. He's saying this. He's giving the same charge to them. The Lord was starting all over again with his new Adam, if you will. This guy he found faithful and righteous, and Noah found favor in God's eyes. I would ask you, would God see you as someone that you has found favor? I know he chose us, and I know that he's forgiven us for our sins, but is your record such that now, if there was, we know there's not going to be, because he said he's not going to ever do the flood thing again. But if is your record such that you would be a candidate for God's favor to save your entire family? That's something I had to self-reflect on. I'm like, okay, don't know. Am I slipping? Am I going to get caught slipping? Am I consistent? All of that is something that we should consider when we're looking at the life of Noah. I mean, it was stellar, clearly. And then it says, then Noah built an altar to the Lord and took of every clean animal and of every clean bird and offered burnt offerings on the altar. Okay. That's what it says. The Lord smelled the soothing aroma, and the Lord said to himself, I will never again curse the ground on account of man, for the intent of man's heart is evil from his youth. So we're born. There goes with that whole born in sin, shaped in iniquity. We're right there. And I will never again destroy every living thing as I have done. I already know man's sinful. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm not going to get caught up like this. I'm not going to get so angry and so done that I get rid of everybody. I'm not going to, no longer will I throw out the baby with the bathwater. I mean, I appreciate the Lord for not doing that, because for sure, I don't deserve life. I definitely deserve death. And I praise God that He has preserved me. It says, while the earth remains, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. He was done. And I appreciate the grace. And this, now we're on number 9. And then God, there was a covenant with the the covenant of the rainbow, right? And God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. Same charge He gave to mankind in the beginning with Adam, right? The fear of you and the terror of you will be on every beast of the earth and on every bird of the sky. See? Now, the difference is He told Adam to go subdue. He's telling Noah, everything's already scared of you. You have dominion. They're already scared of you. Did you know that? Because it says in Matthew 24:37-39 that we're going to be living in the days of Noah. Do you know that things are scared of you? Are you so concerned and you're so scary? You're worried about this getting you and that getting you. That they're already scared of you. You have power just by virtue of who you are and whose you are and how you were created. And He hasn't destroyed all of the people again like that. He says, the fear of you and the terror of you will be on every beast of the earth and on every bird of the sky, with everything that creeps on the ground and all the fish of the sea. Into your hands they are given. Wow, what power, right? Every moving thing that is alive shall be food for you. I give it all to you as I gave the green plant. Only you shall not eat flesh with its life. That is its blood. So for those of you that are eating, I like my stuff really rare. Maybe that's not the way to go. These are my thoughts. I'll keep them to myself, but maybe that's not the way to go. Surely I will require your blood. And that means if it's still alive. Flesh with its life. You're not eating anything that's alive. I'm not saying because usually things that are rare are dead already. But I'm saying the things that are alive. Let's not. Cannibalism is out, my friends. Let's not and let's not do it while they're alive. I'm going to go for you while you're alive. That's not okay. And it says, surely I will require your lifeblood from every beast. I'll require it, and from every man, from every man's brother, I will require the life of man. So that's where we are. Now, then God spoke to Noah and to his sons with him, saying, now behold, I myself do establish my covenant with you and with your descendants after you, and with every living creature that is with you, the birds, the cattle, and every beast of the earth with you, of all that comes of the ark, that every comes out of the ark, even every beast of the earth. He's establishing a covenant with everything that came out of Noah's ark, everything that he went to go pick up, that and did the whole 2x2 situation. He's establishing a covenant with everything. He says, I establish my covenant with you and all the flesh. Never again be cut off by the water of the flood. Never shall there be a flood to destroy the earth. God said, this is the sign of the covenant which I am making between me and you and every living creature, and that is with you. So and for all successive generations. I set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a sign of a covenant between me and the earth. So it wasn't just a covenant between him and man, between all of the earth. I'm never going to destroy all you living creatures. I'm never going to destroy all of you again. Never am I going to do that. What a cool God we serve. I mean, he's regulating himself. He's offering that. I'm not going to get that angry. I we need to do some self-regulation. Um, God had every right to be angry, but we still, but He still says, "I'm not. I'm only going to do this much." Are we disciplined enough to say, "I'm only going to do this much"? Do we have this much mercy for a situation when we are wronged? Like God was really wronged for sure, but He was such a great God, or He is such a great God that said, "I'm not going to do anymore." We should have the same level of restraint and that same level of mercy. Surely, no one has done any of us the way God was done, or betrayed, um, killed. There's so much that was done. In the days of Noah, drinking and all kinds of lascivious behavior, just a lot of unrighteousness going on, and forgetting about who created them. All of that, and surely we were not done betrayed at the level. If we want to, can I say, snatch our kids if they say one thing, and God let this go on for years, waiting for some respect. And so I'm just going to say God deserves all the glory and all the honor, and put some respect on His name. Um, so we given us the rainbow, and it says once in the cloud, that's the reminder of the covenant. Now it says, now the sons of Noah who came out of the ark were Shem and Ham and Japheth. And Ham was the father of Canaan. These three were the sons of Noah, and these were and from these the whole earth was populated. These three sons populated, from their loins came the whole earth. And I've read books, and who's the father of this and who's the father of that. So I'll say this. Then and we'll get back to that in a minute. Then Noah began farming and planted a vineyard. And he drank wine and became drunk. So the first thing he did was plant a vineyard. That was the first mistake, I guess. He just couldn't have grapes. He needed a little drinky drink. This is what I'm looking at. It says he drank from the wine and became drunk and uncovered himself inside his tent. So he was at home drunk. He didn't go out into he wasn't outside the tent. He was at home inside his tent, and he was drunk. And he, went to sleep, I guess. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brothers outside. So he really got drunk. He was naked and drunk. And so Ham went to go tell his brothers. Now, it says love covers a multitude of sins. You already know your daddy's drunk. Why you gotta go tell everybody? You just gotta learn how to be quiet and not tell everybody. You just hush up. Don't tell my business. You know something on me, don't tell it. Cover me if you love me. Cover me if I'm one of your own. You just got protected from a flood that wiped out the whole earth, based on the fact that I was righteous in God's eyes. I found favor in God's eyes. And now you're going to go tell everybody that I was drunk? Shame on you, Ham. Shame, shame, shame on you, Ham. But let's keep going. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brothers. So making sure we're clear that he was the father of Canaan. But Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon both their shoulders, and walked backward and covered the nakedness of their father. So they walked back in the tent, and they just dropping the blanket back. That's some love right there. I don't even want to see my father's nakedness, because love covers a multitude of sins. They did it right. Ham was wrong for that. He was giving them the tea. He called himself spilling the tea, and didn't nobody want to drink from that cup. Do you want to drink from the cup when the tea is spilled? Or they might getting ready to pour the tea and tell the tea? Don't be around with the gossip. Make sure that you're out of the venue. It's like, I don't want to hear all of that. They didn't want me to know, so I don't need to know that. Guess what happened to daddy? I don't want to know what happened to daddy. As soon as they come to you with the 411, you say, no, I don't need to know any of that. I don't want the info. Keep it. Thank you. That's what they should have done. I mean, that's what Ham should have done. And they heard it, and still didn't spread it. They still didn't disrespect their father like that. When he saw, he should have covered and kept his mouth closed. These are just my thoughts. And so, and their faces were turned away so that they did not see their father's nakedness. When Noah woke from his wine, he knew what his youngest son had done to him. So he said, "Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants, he shall be to his brothers." He also said, "Blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant. May God enlarge Japheth, and let him dwell in the tents of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant." Now, there has been a lot said about the black people, because Ham is a father of black people. Shem is a father of, of I guess the Assyrians and the Italians and the brown races, if or brown ethnic groups, if you will, and the white ones are the Japheth. That's the father of all of those different ethnic groups. And so I'm set, and they've been used this scripture to enslave black people as a whole. If we're going to be clear, first of all, God usually, he only curses to the third and fourth generation. All right. But second of all, he only cursed Canaan. Ham had more sons than this, just so we're clear. So it wouldn't cover all black people for all that length of time. And so for people to hold on that and use that as a reason, give themselves a biblical reason or theological reason for making sure that a group of people were enslaved is wrong, and not only is it incorrect morally, it's incorrect theologically. So I want to make sure that we're clear. He only cursed Canaan, and then God, third and fourth generation. It's not even like God don't hold grudges like that. That's not how he rolls. He just doesn't roll like that. I'm just throwing it out there. Anyway, I just wanted to clear that part up, because it's really nerve wracking to hear and to watch the accounts from years past, and people still holding on to that, racist people and racist organizations, and that hold on to these ideologies that are not based in truth at all. There's not even a little truth in it. One son, because he was the youngest son. So he was the youngest son. Ham was the youngest son. One son was cursed, not everybody. We need to be clear on that. It's really important. I'm so tired of hearing that foolishness, and I need us to do better as Christians, and all of us need to make sure that is spread out. And it says, and then Noah lived 350 years after the flood. So all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. Noah lived longer than Adam. He was righteous, and God, and although he sinned, God allowed him to curse his son. Although he sinned, because he was, and we all slip, and and the Lord didn't flood the earth because Noah had a little drink. And I'm not saying it was it was the right thing to do, but Ham's sin only just we was it two wrongs don't make a right, and Ham's sin just all it did was just double up what Noah did. That's not okay, and we've got to do better. He told me off, so I'm gonna tell him off. Stop the sin. Stop it. Just stop it. I'll just say that. And then we're going to go to Genesis 10. These are the descendants of Noah. So we have, these are the records of the generations of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The sons of Japheth were Gomer and Magog, and it's a whole lot of people that were a part of this group. And I would read it, but Genesis 10 will gives you a great genealogy. It really does, and it's reminiscent of Matthew that gives you the genealogy of Jesus. Because remember, Jesus was the new Adam. But here, these sons are the ones that are going to repopulate the earth. And so he's giving you a genealogy of who they are and the people that they become. It's wonderful for us to hear. I will, go through it as fast as I can. I'm trying to make sure that we're clear of, about what's going on. And again, I got on a little late, so I'm sorry. The sons of Japheth were Gomer and Magog and Madai and Javan and Tubal and Meshech, excuse me, and Tyrus. The sons of Gomer were Ashkenaz and Riphath and Togarmah. The sons of Javan were Elisha and Tarshish, Kittim and um, Dodanim. From these, the coastlands of the nations were separated into their lands, every one according to his language, according to their families, into their nations. The sons of Ham were Cush, Mizraim, and Put, and Canaan. So Ham had how many sons? Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. All of those boys were not cursed. Only Canaan. Remember that. And that goes to show you as well that the sins of the father will revisit the sons. I mean, I'm just saying. So the things that we do affect our children. Cain didn't have nothing to do with that. Ham was doing all that and telling it on the mountain and over the hills. He was being TMZ for there was one. That's what that's what Ham was doing. And then Canaan got punished. We have to watch ourselves and our mouths because what we do affects other people. We are not living in isolation. This is clear. Anyway, the sons of Cush were Seba, Havilah, and Sabta, and Ramah, and Sabteka. And the sons of Ramah were Sheba, and so we had Seba, and now we have the sons of Ramah were Sheba and Dedan. Now Cush became the father of Nimrod. He became a mighty one on the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Therefore it is said, like Nimrod, a mighty hunter before the Lord. The beginning of his kingdom was Babel and Erech and Akkad and Calneh in the land of Shinar. From that land he went forth into Assyria and built Nineveh and Rehoboth, Ir, and Calah. And Rezin became Nineveh and Calah, but that is the great city. Mizraim became the father of Ludum and Anamim and Lehabim and Naphtuhim and Pathrasim and Casluhim, from which came the Philistines. And so the Philistines were from Ham and Caphtorim. Canaan became the father of Sidon and his firstborn and Heth, and so Sidon was his firstborn, and Heth and Jebusites and the Amorites and the Girgashites and the Hivites. See, these are all the ones that kept fighting. If you look, as we go in, you'll see these are the ones that were fighting everybody. These were Canaan's kids. They were doing some foolishness to God. They were always fighting Shem's people. They were always in the mix with that. And the Hivites and the Archites and the Sinites and the Arvadites and the Zemarites and the Hamathites. And afterward, the families of Canaanites were spread abroad. The territory of the Canaanites extended from the Sidon as you go toward the Gerar, as far as Gaza, as you go up towards Sodom and Gomorrah, and Admah, and Zebulun, and as far as Lasha. These are the sons of Ham, according to their families, according to their language, by their lands, by their nations. So he had a lot. Canaan had a lot of sons, and so did the other ones. They had a lot. As we mentioned, how many sons did he have? Make sure that we're clear. So there's no issue. We understand that Ham had 4 sons: Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. And so he had other kids besides the one that we focus on. And also the Shem, the father of all the children of Eber, and all the older brother of Japheth, the children were born. The sons of Shem were Elam and Asher and Arpachshad and Lud and Aram. The sons of Aram were Uz and Hul and Gether and Mash. Arpachshad became the father of Shelah, and Shelah became the father of Eber. 2 sons were born to Eber. The name of one was Peleg, and for in his days the earth was divided. And his brother's name was Joktan. Joktan became the father of Almodad, and Sheleph, and Hazarmaveth, and Jerah, and Hadaram, and Uzal, and Diklah, and Obal, and Abimael, and Sheba, and so he had a Sheba as well, and Ophir, and Avila, and Johab. All these were the sons of Joktan. Now their settlements extended from Mesha as you go towards Safar and the hill country of the east. These are the sons of Shem, according to their families, according to their languages, by their lands, according to their nations. And these are the sons, and these are the families of the sons of Noah, according to their genealogies, by their nations. And out of these, the nations were separated on the earth after the flood. So this is Genesis 10, almost done. Genesis 11. So now we get into the whole earth using the same language. Now the whole earth used the same language and the same words. It came about as they journeyed east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar and settled there. They said to one another, "Come, let us make bricks and burn them thoroughly." And they used brick for stone, and they used tar for mortar. And they said, "Come, let us build for ourselves a city and a tower whose top will reach into heaven. Let us make for ourselves a name, otherwise we will be scattered abroad over the face of the whole earth." Now they had been everybody had been scattered, and they this group didn't want to be scattered. They were like, what we not gonna do is be scattered all over. We need to be together. Then here we go. The Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the sons of men had built. The Lord said, "Behold, they are one people, and they all have the same language. And this is what they began to do. And now nothing which they purpose to do will be impossible for them." If we are on one accord and we are all speaking the same language, meaning that we're all saying the same thing, because you know how he says, "Well, two or three are to gather together in my name, there I will be in the midst." The Lord came down because they all gathered together to accomplish a goal. This was not a good goal. This was a bad goal. And the Lord was concerned that that here we are, they're all together. They understand the value of unity. Do we understand the value of unity? Unity is so doggone important. Even with the in bad times or with bad intentions, unity. That's why we have um, crime, and crime families, and all of that, mafia and things of that nature. And you see uh, takeovers and coups like that happen, with governments. And we saw how the Nazis were able to do what they did, unto the to the to oppress the Jews, which was a way unfortunate thing. But they were of one mind, and they were all working together for a singular purpose. And I'm saying, when you have unity, a lot can be accomplished, good or bad, unfortunately. All right. It says, "Behold, there are one people, and they all have the same language." And this is what they began to do. And so he says, "Come, let us go down in the and he says, come, let us go down and there confuse their language, so that they will not understand one another's speech." God came down and confused the language. Like, you know what? Let's go down. He talked to his group, meet the Father, Son, Holy Ghost. All was, hey, listen, let's confuse this mess. This is what we're not going to do, is have everybody on one accord doing the wrong thing. So the Lord scattered them abroad from there over the face of the whole earth, and they stopped building the city because they couldn't understand each other. So how do we even know that we're on one accord? They couldn't understand each other. So they had to get that part together. Therefore, its name was called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of the whole earth. Now, it goes down. Now we're going to go through the descendants of Shem. We're almost done. Don't worry. These are the records of the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and became the father of Arpachshad 2 years after the flood. And Shem lived 500 years after he became the father of Arpachshad, and he had other sons and daughters. So we're talking about 600. He was 600 years old when he died. Remember, Noah was 950 years. So their whole promise of you will not surely die. They lived a long life, but now the time is shortening. He only got his lifespan got shortened by almost 1/3 of what Noah's was. Noah was at 950, and this boy dying at 600. I'm just saying. Arpachshad lived 35 years and became the father of Shelah, and Arpachshad lived 403 years after he became the father of Shelah, and he had other sons and daughters. So 400 plus 35, he only lived like 435 years. Well, 403 plus 35, but you have 438 years old. We've already went from the 600 of his father, to down to 438. The time is going down. The Lord said, "You will die when you eat of that tree," and now they see that their lives are not as extensive as they were, not as long. Shelah lived 35 years and became the father of Eber, and Eber lived 403 years after he became the father of Eber. I'm sorry, but Shelah lived 403 years after he became the father of Eber. And there we go. And Eber lived 34 years and became the father of Peleg. And Eber lived 432 years. I'm sorry, 430 years after he became the father of Peleg. Peleg lived 30 years and became the father of Ru. And Peleg lived 209 years. See how it's going down. And then Ru lived 32 years and became the father of Serug. And Ru lived 270 years after he became, see we go, the father of Serug. Serug lived 30 years and became the father of Nahor. And Serug lived 200 years after he became the father of Nahor. Nahor lived 29 years and became the father of Terah. And Nahor lived 119 years after he became the father of Terah. And he had other sons and daughters. Terah lived 70 years and became the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran. So here we go. Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Here we go. Now these are the records of the generation of Terah. Terah became the father of Abram and Nahor and Haran, and Haran became the father of Lot. Haran died in the presence of his father, Terah, in the land of his birth, in the Ur of the Chaldeans. Abram and Nahor took wives for themselves. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife was Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah and Iscah. Sarai was barren; she had no child. Terah took Abram his son, and Lot the son of Haran, his grandson, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, his son Abram's wife, and they went out together from the Ur of Chaldeans in order to enter the land of Canaan. And they went as far as Haran and settled there. The days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. There we are. We've gotten to we know we're with Abram now. We went from Noah and the flood and the generations that took us from the families of Shem. So Abram is of the family of Shem. And that's where we are now. I bless the Lord for your presence. I hope you understand that God started off a brand new Adam. Everything was new, basically. Brand new covenant with the animals and the creeping of all the living flesh on the earth. He made a covenant with them, with not destroying. God is and still keeping that covenant. But I want you to understand something else. Matthew 24, 37 through 39 says that we're going to be living, that we're before the Son of Man comes back, or the Son of God comes back, which is Jesus, that we're going to be in the days of Noah. Noah days were really bad to the point where God destroyed the earth. God, it with water. Where are you on the spectrum? Are you doing okay? Let's do a temperature check for ourselves. Where am I? If God was to destroy the earth right now, would I be going with everybody else? Or would he find favor in me? Would he find favor in me? That's what I want to leave with you. I want him to find favor in you. I want you to find God and stick with him. Be in this word. It's about time. Let's make sure we're clear. Stay tuned for tomorrow. We're jumping to Job because it's about time. We're jumping from Genesis to Job because now it's time to introduce another person, another person that will take us on further in this story of love and redemption that is about time shows us. The Lord is so good in the Bible. Don't we love him? Have a great rest of your day, you guys. It has been a blessing. This is Lynette. See you next time. I do not have a touch screen. I don't know what I'm trying to do. But pray for me.